Are we live? I don't see it yet, but we'll see if we're live. Hello there, YouTube. Hello, pizza loving nerd. Did you have your pizza today? I am live. Okay, so let me just. I guess I'm not live on Periscope yet. Okay, then click the button. Now we are live also on Periscope. So let me just change the devices here. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. How are you doing, guys? So, don't be shy here on YouTube. Say hello. Good evening, Ralph Velasquez. Yeah, don't be shy on Periscope. Make sure you talk to us. There's hundreds of you come in here and you don't say a word. And it's hello, Gina on Periscope. A lot of you just come in and just be quiet, and we don't want that. We want you to talk, and so we get your opinions and your feelings, and we know exactly what you're thinking. And so we're not guessing about that. Does Periscope work with OBS? Yes. So I am broadcasting on Periscope and YouTube, and I am not broadcasting on Twitch. I took Twitch out. I had pasta today, but I had pizza yesterday. Stream Elements bought running elements. Oh, I thought that was somebody's comment. Hello, infinite in vivo. Oh, hello, first last. Thank you for the balding. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. First Last. Glad to have you here. Locutos of board. So yes, if you're on all of these platforms, we're used to the interaction on Periscope. So speak up and say hi and let me know what you feel. So is that Maryam? Hello, Maryam. Goodness, it's just getting smaller and smaller, the text here. So it's like Guyula Laszlo Taco. Good morning from Transylvania. Good morning. Where's Frankenstein? Is Frankenstein coming in? Hello, Stan521 on Periscope. Thank you, First Last. Thank you so much. That's so appreciated. We do this broadcast for free, and if you're not aware of what happens here on YouTube, we don't make much money doing this. So the advertise. If you think we're making like tons of money in advertising, sorry. this is definitely not a way to make a living. So we appreciate it. Some of our. Of course, I have Tor routers. We always have Tor routers. Tor routers are number one selling product right here. Number one selling product, Tor routers. So yes, so you gotta have a Tor router. That's number one selling product. Anyway, we here on this channel, meaning me, I survived doing this a little bit, not much, but from selling products that I make, and it gives me a chance to advertise, because there's no way to actually advertise this. I don't have any money to advertise, so my channel is my advertising for some of my products, and I have one. This is in fact the most popular product, and I didn't even expect it to be. I expected the alarm to be the most popular product, and it turns out that the Brex Wi-Fi router is the most popular product. And this one has undergone a change in the last week. From the prior version from 2 weeks ago, this version is now 3 times faster than the version from, this is using now Raspberry Pi 4, and also is has a new option. If you connect a USB Ethernet dongle, it can turn into a wired router. So now it can work as a Wi-Fi router if you don't have a dongle, or it can work as a wired router. Do you sell in bulk? Hello, Joe. Not immediately. I couldn't sell you in bulk right now. That I would go broke from selling you in bulk. Sup, Joe? Yeah, I'd go broke for it because that means I have to pre-buy 100 Raspberry Pis at $50 a piece. Yeah, so and then I have to go mass produce 100 of them. No, I don't have. I don't have 100 of them. No. So I make them as they're as they're purchased. Hello, Joe. Weefu Can is here on Periscope. So welcome, guys, from YouTube. And there's Mariam, and there's Entire Meyer, and there's AMG. Hello. So, and there's 24 of you on YouTube, being very, very quiet, so you can talk now. You can say hi and ask your question. So don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, thank you for saying that. So hello, Great Gold. So anyway, yeah, I was late. I realized I was late because I went to eat at a mall, and the dinner was kind of slow. Hi from Las Vegas. So hello, we can. So dinner was kind of slow, and while we were waiting for seating, I walked into Best Buy, and so walked into Best Buy and saw all these electronics, and it was like so bright with all these fancy phones. All these fancy new phones that they all look kind of the same. They're all like black like this, with super bright screens, and always put in such a way that they can show off the high resolution. And you walk around and there's just tons of phones. They make 2 billion phones a year, so you can see where they have that. So I didn't know there was a McDonald's at Best Buy. So anyway, so I was looking at all these devices on there, and then they have desktop PCs and all that, and they're Chromebooks, and I saw something called Pixel. What is it? Google Slate. I guess it's a new kind of tablet. That's Google Slate. So it's like a tablet version of a Chromebook, maybe. Is that what it is? Like a touch tablet version of a Chromebook. And then of course Ring. Let's not forget Ring. So I'm like looking at all this, and it's like, oh gosh, how do you guys resist this? You're gonna go and look at all that, here in the holiday season of 2019, and can you resist buying a lot of these gadgets? Last year, at Christmas, we did some exchange gift thing. You have to start eating better when you are older. Okay, I'm sure you're starting before me, Weefu Can. So last year, during the Christmas exchange gifts with my family, I won. The gift I got was a Amazon Echo. Awesome. Was like, I said to myself, with my luck, I'm gonna get an Amazon Echo. And sure enough, that's what I got, an Amazon Echo. And it's like, Zoc, you got shoes. You don't need shoes, Weefu Can. You have all these expensive shoes. So I said, I announced to because they all know what I do. I said, okay, looks like I got a round puck that I can use for target practice. So I'm going to use that for target practice, and tape it to a target, and that will be my target, because definitely an Amazon Echo is not going to get used in this household. Hello, Stephen from Canada. Is that how you pronounce that? Stephen from Canada? Because it's spelled like Stefan. RBR from the Great White North. Another one from the Great White North. Aaron 858. So I love nice shoes. They make a man. uh, so anyway, it was interesting to just to see all the gadgets on there, and I was just like saying to myself, what do you actually know? Do you actually know? What to look for, what to buy. Electronics, of course, will be the first thing that you're gonna look for uh, when you're thinking about the holidays. And can you actually have the discipline to not do that? And it went off to storage. Went off to storage. You can you can actually take the Amazon hockey puck and open it up. It's a computer on there. Maybe I'd probably take it apart. It's a Linux computer in there, so I'll find out a way to maybe change the SD card in there and turn it into a computer like a Raspberry Pi. That's probably what I'd do. French Canadian. Okay. Hello, Paul. Must have been a joke gift for you. Well, it's kind of random, and I randomly got it. So, Raspberry. I mean, a Amazon Echo. Me getting an Amazon Echo. And my brother said, "I'll take it." My brother said, "I'll take it." So I said, "Zach, you can have it." What's the odd question, Joe? What's the odd question? So, do you have discipline in Meyer? Do you have discipline? I have a lot of discipline. Because of what I do, I buy. It's what I do. So I buy hardware. Do you spoil the family for Christmas? Yes, Joe, I do. So what? I always buy. New stuff. I buy a computer every year. I buy a new laptop every year. It's standard, and it's my job. So it's yes, of course I have siblings, Joe. So it's my job to be up to date with technology. So I buy a new laptop. I buy new phones. I always have a new iPhone. I don't necessarily have a new Android, but I have a newish Android. And I, in a typical year, I'd have all the gadgets. Back in the day, I would get security cameras and whatever's new at the time, and whatever new gadget I would have it. Uh, and it's changed, guys. I don't do that anymore. This is my last iPhone, and this is the 10. And the reason I had to get a new iPhone was because you can't submit an app unless you have the right size display to show them that yep, your app runs on this size display. So I have to buy one. At one point, Apple required that I buy that huge iPad Pro, the big iPad. I couldn't submit an app until I sent them a picture of my app running on an iPad Pro. I said, "Who the hell is gonna use this big giant thing? I don't really care about this big giant thing in here." And so I didn't want to buy it and it's over $1,000. It's like $1,100 or something. But I had to buy it because I couldn't submit my app. So I bought it, took the photo with the app, returned the Zucker, returned it, said, "Oh, you have free returns for 2 weeks." Fantastic. So I used it, made my app with it, returned it to Apple, no questions asked, and I said, "Yep." I'm not sure if I actually want to buy. You can't use. It's very hard to use emulators now. Yeah, you can't. It's really hard to do that. So Anyway, so this was the last one I bought, and fortunately for me, the 11, the XR, the 11 Pro, it's the same size display. So nothing really changed as far as the display, which is the main issue. I don't really care that it's faster because even Apple's running out. I mean, yes, they're making chips that are faster, but feature-wise, there really isn't much of a difference between an iPhone 10 and 11 Pro. What exactly is going to be different when you use it? I don't think there's going to be much of a difference. So some of you are like, oh my gosh, I got to get an iPhone 11 Pro and I want to spend my money for the holidays and give a nice present and whatever. To be honest with you, you can buy a used iPhone 10, which is pretty much the same quality display, and for most users, it's about the same speed as a 11 Pro and you can buy this, an 11 Pro for like 600 some bucks. I paid 1,300 for this, 256 gigabytes. I paid 1,300 for this, and now I'm saying, Zach, and this is not on an installment. I actually paid for it, and I don't want to buy this anymore. As you know, for privacy reasons, you have to go through a thought process of saying, what am I buying, and what are the consequences of it? Are any of you actually thinking that? Because you have to almost look at every product, and we'll discuss some of it, and you can think about, it's just something you ought to be buying if you really are concerned about privacy, because most people are not even like thinking about the consequences of it. So one of the first devices that so the phone is obviously one of the first devices that people are looking at, and I realized that some of you just because you've come to rely on apps and such, that you're not going to be interested in older Nexus 5s like this. I'm actually pretty happy with this. And the other thing that I'm very happy with this on the Nexus 5 is it doesn't have 5G. In fact, one things I love about some of these new phones, like the Pine phone and the Librem 5 that I've been waiting for, these phones have no 5G. They have no 5G support. So Jay, I love the fact that they don't get 5G. I wish they never have 5G. So why do you think 5G is going to be good for you? So 5G is a way they're going to charge you extra money, because you're going to say, well, you can get all the super fast bandwidth and everything will be video. So they're going to force you to not even have a conversation. You can't even have a conversation with just texting. Oh no, you got to FaceTime everyone because you got 5G. So they're going to foist it on you. I just imagine, in the future, people are going to laugh at you if you text. No, we're going to do 5G. We're going to do video. Even to text, you're not going to text. You're actually going to just talk on your phone and make a recording, and then you're going to leave it there as your text message, a recording of the video, even if it's not live. I bet you. I bet you. So that's I can see that's going to be the trend. And so basically you're paying for all this bandwidth just so everything can be video, and it's going to be expensive. They're going to say, oh, get 5G for $100 a month instead of paying $40 a month. You're going to spend $100 a month. It's like, you love that. So I don't need 5G. It's not important, and 5G has some consequences. One of the things about 5G, and I'm not talking about the health issues, which is a separate issue, because the health issue is not on 5G. The health issue is on 4G. So you already have the health issue. You stick this on your face, all day, that's already, all the studies have been done on 4G, not 5G. So 4G is already, doing emissions that could be risky. So in any case, 5G is different than 4G because you're not even going to need Wi-Fi triangulation. No need for that. The Zucking cell tower will pinpoint you and say, "We know exactly where you are. We know Hello, nerdy art. We know exactly where you are with 5G because 5G is based on beam forming. So the beam will actually go and point to you and say, "Oh, you're over there, right there in that corner, right there." Probably within a couple of feet. So yeah, so there's a consequence to all of these technologies. There's a consequence. 5G is the future. Few people say wired internet might be doomed. Uh, yeah, maybe Donnie. Maybe wired internet will have a comeback. Hello, Daryl from Kentucky. Uh, you know what? Now that I made this wired, so the Brax Wi-Fi router is now equipped with a wired option. If you put a dongle in here, it will work in wired mode, and so you could, in theory, just be wired and not be plugged into Wi-Fi, and it will actually turn off the Wi-Fi. If you plug in the Ethernet dongle, it will actually turn off the Wi-Fi on it automatically, and that's good. No emissions. Even Snowden says you should go wired. So when they say 5G is the future and you're gonna not go wired, could be a resurgence in there, because people just don't care. They go to the store and say, "Oh, it's a nice, fancy new product, new tech," and I'm at the forefront of tech. I'm very big in tech, as you know. I've been a proponent of tech since the very beginning. From the time I started building my own PCs and developing software for all these computers. Because it's kind of fun to be able to do it yourself and not rely on IBM with a big iron back in the day. Back in the day, the only way to do computing was to deal with the big iron from IBM and all those big companies, big mainframes. And the idea of building your own computer was such innovation, and here we are. And now now these things are computers to themselves. So that's a single board computer. So that's what's inside a Brax Wi-Fi router, a single board computer. It's called an SoC, system on a chip. Capital S, lowercase o, capital C. And that's the same thing that's inside your phones. So this is system on a chip. Where can we order our EMF-proof suits? Wear lead suit, and then you die from lead poisoning. So anyway, can you actually resist? You go to the store. I know some of you cannot resist. You're gonna go, especially for those of you who are on Periscope, because you're using your iPhones and your Androids to watch on Periscope. So no, of course, to you there's a life-changing experience to be watching live video on Android and iOS. But here I am watching live video on Ubuntu Touch. Let's see if I can actually get it live. Let's see if it actually works well. Yeah, let me see. This is wow. Yeah. Yeah. Ubuntu Touch live on an old phone. Looks okay. It's running fine. It's not slowing down or anything. It's running like at normal speed. And this is an old phone. So you don't need a fan in the router. No, you don't need a fan in the router. So that's pretty cool that I'm able to do that on an old phone, and I don't need to do anything fancy. But maybe think of maybe buy yourself clothes. Buy yourself some Uh, got got any Nexus 5 left? I think I have a couple left. Locutus of Borg. Yeah, I think I have a couple left. So yeah. So if there's more demand, I can buy some more. But at the moment, I think I only have two left. What do you think of that streamer? What streamer? This streamer? This streamer? So yeah, I think I have. Yeah, buy shoes. We food cancer. Buy shoes. Buy something else. Don't buy electronics. You got to be careful. Buy my electronics. You got to be careful about what you buy. You know, you have to. You have to think. Yeah, if you want to buy the Nexus 5, go into the store. Go to the store now and buy it now while we're talking here before somebody snatches it, because there's two left right now. So the rest are reserved already. Some people have. Yeah, I think just two. I see you. I see you. Be back 40. What does that mean? Yes, great tech guy. So, hello, Janik Sloan. Janik Sloan, welcome back to Periscope. Good to see you. So, anyway, Philip Kilgore, hello. RBR want a Snowden phone. What is a Snowden phone? Snowden does not want a phone. I really love Ubuntu Touch. Is the must-finish Linux product for mobile phones world. Yeah, so I'm actually, if my main complaint on a Ubuntu Touch is actually not much of a complaint. It can be solved. My main complaint on an Ubuntu Touch is I want a faster phone. So since Ubuntu Touch currently is being used on older phones, that's kind of a negative, but it could work on a faster phone. I don't really know why they haven't ported it to a newer phone yet. I'm going to make a video explaining that. I don't really know why, because, somebody already came up with a way to use a method for porting newer phones to Ubuntu Touch, and I don't know why they're failing. I think maybe the solution is to get one of those devs, at Ubuntu Touch, give them an actual phone to play with. Say, here, can you port to this? And then maybe Yannick. Yes, I had to make sure, because I was like reading it backwards in there. I should know that. I should know that, but it's hard to know what I'm reading until I can see it, and then by the time I get through it, I've already thought I was reading Janet. So entire trying to relate it to the slower folks. So yeah. So if that's if you're asking me, yes, I know I handed this phone to a millennial and he said, I'm not a fan. He said. So I handed it to millennial and said, I'm not a fan. And you know what? My reaction to that, millennial that's not a fan, my reaction is, fuck you. Some of these devices come at a cost. The cost is that you're going to go spy on my life forever. And sorry, that's just not, not going to happen. Can you think about the fact that 2 billion phones are made a year. 2 billion. I can't believe. So we're replacing phones. Some of us are replacing phones every year. So 2 billion phones. That means even in the poor countries, they all have a phone. So 2 billion phones. And the only ones that don't have a phone are the ones who are, 8 years old and below. 8-year-old. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, Hollywood. Are you in Hollywood? Sonum XP5s or XP3, any good for a dumb phone? Why? Why do you need a dumb phone? This is better than a dumb phone. Let me explain why these are better than a dumb phone. Okay, so this is a Nexus 5. And in a few months, you're gonna be able to get commercial versions of a Pine phone. Why are these better than dumb phones? Because they have a browser, so you can do normal things. Actually, I'm running YouTube right now, right there, and you could see me live here. It's me live on YouTube, and I'm doing this on this Ubuntu Touch. I can run Braxme here. I'll show you. I think I have to restart it. Oops, I already had it running. Okay, hold on. But Ubuntu Touch has a browser, so you can do normal things. So the problem with a lot of flip phones is they're on 3G, and the 3G is no longer supported. So that's the main issue with just having a phone. So there, it's running Braxme right now. So yeah, I mean, I can do normal things with it. I just wish it were faster. Okay, I just wish it were faster. If this were faster, I think a millennial would go and look at it and say, "Oh, okay, that's fine. I could use that." If it's slow, they say, "Well, they're impatient because they live their life clicking on this all day." Hello, Rebus. Hello, Joe again. So anyway, how are you doing, Joe? By the way, still not talking to me in Brax. So Joe still doesn't talk to me in Brax. So after 4 years, 4.5 years. What a waste of precious resources. They think recycling, you reuse the same resources, you can for a few times. Technology being misused rather than used in a better to better someone's life. Sky Bear, just kind of a funny thing. I live in California. And the big thing here is here in Los Angeles. The big thing here is, you can't if you're drinking having a drink like like an iced tea, you don't get a straw. Because you got to save resources here. You can eat on a plastic plate, and use plastic spoons and forks, but you can't have a straw. Can't have a straw. And yes, and yeah, to think about all the waste of all the resources of making these phones, that we have to buy a new one every year, because we're zucking millennials, we got to get a new one every year, and it's like because this is our life. And I just think it's funny, just the priorities. So thank you, Stephen. It's just funny to me. So anyway, that's something that I'm gonna say to you. Think about maybe not getting all these fancy phones. Pull back a little bit and think. Do you really need the fancy phone that's spying on you? Maybe you need to rethink it. It may be that you still want some of these phones as a secondary phone. Like I do. I told you I have an iPhone, right? But I actually have a new policy with my iPhone. This actually never leaves home now. I still need it because I do development work on apps on an iPhone, but I leave it at home. It's kind of an expensive thing to leave home, but I leave it at home, and I am so happy that I'm walking around with a Ubuntu Touch phone. Now, why? Because this has no tracking whatsoever. I said something yesterday about the Ubuntu Touch phone, the Nexus 5, not having that. I corrected myself on the Nexus 5, so I'm going to make sure I repeat it because people didn't understand what I said. Originally, in my videos, I said that even with Ubuntu Touch, it seems like the phone is still using Wi-Fi triangulation. And the reason I said that was because I turned off the GPS and then I turned it back on. It found my location within 6 zucking feet. So I said, oh, if this is going to find my location within 6 zucking feet, then it must have Wi-Fi triangulation. Because Wi-Fi triangulation, GPS doesn't work indoors. So what I didn't realize, and the reason that it worked and it did Wi-Fi triangulation on me, was that it just had cached locations. It just knew where I was, and the GPS was just storing the prior location. So I've turned off the GPS for weeks now. Haven't turned it on at all in weeks. And I turned on the GPS and it couldn't find my location indoors. You touch your own buttons. So I couldn't it couldn't find my location indoors, because that is one of the markers of Wi-Fi triangulation. If the phone finds you indoors, it has Wi-Fi triangulation. It could not find me indoors, therefore the phone does not have Wi-Fi triangulation. I was fooled into thinking that, which makes this a little bit safer than I even thought. So this is safe. This is very, very safe. This is a totally non-tracking phone, and it's, like I said, the main issue that I feel like is the one that's a major if impact on me, is the fact that I wish it were faster. Some of you will say, well, I need certain apps, like Periscope. Some of you are on Periscope. Some of you need certain apps like Waze and Uber. That's probably a big one, Uber. So you can't have an app without Uber because you can't get around. So wouldn't it be nice though if you have a cheap phone like this, and then you could turn the other one off until you need to use it. And then guess what that does? For example, for weeks now, Apple does not know where I've been having dinner. For weeks now, it doesn't know when I go to a restaurant. It doesn't know when I leave the house. As far as Apple knows, I've just been staying at home. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody puts in a new OS on an iPhone? If somebody just has the guts to write some software to replace iOS, that would be fantastic. Can you hotspot with it? Yes, I do hotspot with it. Yeah. I can use I can hotspot this and then use the hotspot with my iPhone, and it's pretty fast. So normally I thought that they would throttle you when you hotspot. Like T-Mobile has a hotspot capability that will only allow 2G, but I think Ubuntu Touch does something different, and I was using it. It was very fast, like direct connection. KaiOS is safe, but KaiOS is made for low-end phones, so it's not full featured. So yeah, KaiOS is safe. KaiOS is from Firefox OS, so it's safe. I just had focaccia chicken. I had tri-tip. That's what I had tonight. I had tri-tip. Zuckadroid or ZuxOS. I'm just so glad that I don't get it's just some of these things that I do, and you don't realize how big of an effect it has on your life until you check back years later and do these precautions work. So I have an ability to go check what the internet knows about my location. I'm talking about my IP address and see if it does something called a reverse IP lookup. So I went on Skyhook. So Skyhook is one of the number one providers of, in fact, it does it for the iPhone, number one providers of reverse IP lookup databases, reverse IP lookup database from Skyhook. So I looked up my IP address on Skyhook, and basically the only information they have about me is that it's the same location as would be shown with my IP address, meaning it's the location of the ISP. So that shows that all my hard work's been paying off. Now, some of you don't really care, and you don't think about why you might need something like this. Brax Wi-Fi router. And one of these days, you're going to find out that your location is it probably already is in the database because you're using your phone without a VPN. I've been using VPNs and VPN routers and Tor for so many years. And in my household, it's a requirement to be on a VPN, even for guests, because I don't want somebody coming in here, going on my network, and then using my IP address and then attaching it to my location and then pushing that off to these databases that sell that, and then they can do reverse IP lookups. Anytime you go on the internet, somebody knows exactly where you live. So I'm happy to say that because of all the precautions, there's payback. The payback is that even if I accidentally use my IP address, if my IP address was revealed, they actually don't know my location. You cannot opt out of Skyhook. No, it's sold. So the way to opt out of Skyhook is use a VPN with everything you do at home. That is the only way you opt out. It's not an opt out. You're automatically in unless you VPN out. So you have to take the precautions, because otherwise then they do reverse IP lookup and then you're done. It's not reversible. Once they got your IP address and match it to your house, that's it. I mean, forever and ever you're going to be matched, and you're not going to have any escape. Messaging apps with end-to-end encryption helps. That has nothing to do with anything. You can be on end-to-end encryption and you go into any website and you don't have a VPN, and your phone or your computer will be registered with that IP address and the location, and that will be sold. So the next time you go on the internet anywhere, they just know who you are automatically just from your IP address. That's what you want to stop, because you don't even know this. Every time you send an email out, your IP address is on the email. Did you know that? Can you make sure you can answer Hollywood's question, because today they're in the know and brought them over, because they're in the know and I brought them over. No, I was just answering Hollywood there. Yeah, so you can't just say, I'm going to use a messaging app with end-to-end encryption. No, that's not enough. It's got to be a policy of starting from the beginning and making sure you're dotting all the T's, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and saying, yep, I'm going to do everything to make sure that my home IP address is never revealed, because once that's sold, there's no pulling it back. The only way to pull back your IP address once it's been sold is to move. Okay? So it's like, oh, I've been zucked. What's the solution? We're going to have to change my residence. Well, that's not so easy if you have a house. If you're in an apartment, you can say, okay, I'll change apartments. I guess you could do that. But otherwise, you can't. If you own your house, then you're zucked. So you can't do that. IP address selling for this IP reverse IP lookup that I'm talking about is a very serious big business now, and thousands of apps. Hello, Jane. I need to spoof my MAC address. No, you cannot. Spoofing your MAC address is not important. Spoofing your router's MAC address is what you're looking for. It doesn't matter if you're using Signal. By the way, Signal. Here's an example. Again, use Brax.me. By the way, don't be focused on Signal, Telegram, and WhatsApp. Use the app Brax.me, which is my app. And the reason is my app is pseudo-anonymous, whereas Signal forces you to put in your zucking phone number. Telegram forces you to put your phone number. WhatsApp forces you to put your phone number. And when you put your phone number, your identity has been revealed. And then people with your contact list with that phone number get uploaded to Telegram. They all know your name, know who you're connected to. This is true with WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, all of them. It's awful. That alone is a reason never to go use these apps. That alone. Let me explain that again, because maybe you're not getting this, okay? So you say, I'm going to use Signal. Yes, you use DuckDuckGo. You want to spoof IMEI? Yeah, go to jail. Brax.me is the name of the app. I am Brax.me. That's my app. Okay. Is the BlackBerry really dead? I just sold my BlackBerry. Somebody just bought my BlackBerry, so apparently there's still demand for it. Brax.me is my app. Okay, what is unique about my app? Because people are so focused on end-to-end encryption, and yet they reveal all their metadata anyway. This is not really part of the topic, but I'm going to just explain this to you. Okay, so let's use as an example, let's use WhatsApp as an example. WhatsApp is pretty much the same technique used by Telegram. So we're going to use these two. They're the same approach. So we're going to take that. So you said, I'm going to talk to my friend, and we're going to talk in a secure way so our conversations are private, and we're going to use WhatsApp. And in some countries like India, they're very, very big on WhatsApp. So then you say, okay, I'm going to talk to you on WhatsApp. And how do you identify yourself on WhatsApp? By your phone number. Okay, so anytime somebody goes to WhatsApp, one of the first things they do is upload their contact list because they want to talk to everyone else on WhatsApp. So what happens is you go to WhatsApp, they ask you for your phone number, and then you upload your contact list with their name and the phone number. So now the WhatsApp database now has everyone's phone number and what their names are. So now think about it. Let's say there's 100 of you in a group, and you say, oh, we'll talk to each other on WhatsApp. And so you join WhatsApp, put the phone number in, and each one of you, of the 100, uploads their own contact list, and suddenly there are tens of thousands, 10,000 people in the database of WhatsApp that they're not connecting with a relationship map based on the phone numbers and the names that you just uploaded, and possibly emails and other things that are on there. Oh, come on, Rebus, come on. Oh, I'll use a fake phone number. Your friends are not going to use a fake phone number. Did you understand? Your friends are not, it's not up to you. A contact list is one of the most dangerous things because you don't control it. I'll give you a specific example here. I went to Telegram. Let me tell you, I deleted my Telegram account so fast. I went to Telegram and it asked for a phone number. I said, I don't want to use this, but okay, I'll put a phone number in. I'll try it out. Okay. I put in my phone number, and within a few hours, I get a message from my brother on Telegram. And you know what he says to me? Glad to see you on Telegram. I said, Zuck, you bro. How did you find me? I didn't respond to him at all. But in my mind, I said, how the Zuck did you find me on Telegram? I just joined Telegram. And the reason is I was in his contact list. So when you run the phone, when he turns on Telegram, he sees me on there. Oh, one of my contacts are now on Telegram. He starts talking to me. It's like, Zuck, this is supposed to be a privacy app? Are you kidding me? So no. WhatsApp, Telegram, all these are like that. Brax.me doesn't work like that. Brax.me is completely pseudo-anonymous. There's nothing to connect you to any. You can use any identity you want. If the people you're talking to are unknown to you, they will remain unknown to you. There's nothing to attach them to anything until they tell you who they really are in real life. There's nothing. There's no IP address. There's nothing. You're not required to put emails in. You're not. If you want to authenticate yourself using time-based authentication like Authy, you can do that. You do not have to use email. You do not have to use a phone number. And even if you use an email or phone number, it's private information. It's never passed. It's never shared. I never take a contact list. I will never take a contact list. It's one of the most dangerous things an app can do. Any app that takes a contact list should always be banned. You should never use an app with a contact list. Okay? So there's the difference, guys. There's a difference. Social media comes at a cost. You want to use an easy way to communicate with a phone number. You say, yeah, I'm going to use Telegram because it knows my phone number. So yeah, zock those. Okay, how much is it? How much is what? Braxme? How much is Braxme? Braxme is free. What are you talking about? Just like this broadcast, Braxme is free. I don't charge for Braxme. You can use advanced features of Braxme, and there is a charge. Like if you want to use the store, like I use Braxme as my store. So if you want to have a store like mine, you can. Okay, so VPN is $89 a year. I'm using both Brax and Wicker. So anyway, I'm using both back. Okay, good. Use Brax and Wicker. Wicker is kind of like spy like. It's a little different. It's more secret agenty looking. You have to hold your finger to see. All that. So yeah, if you're talking to a specific person, that will work too. Braxme is where you can talk to people you don't know. You don't have to talk to people you know. On Braxme, you can talk to people you don't know since it's social media. So Braxme is more than messaging, it's social media. So I'm actually broadcasting on Braxme right now as well. So it's social media, and I don't make money on Braxme. No, Braxme does not have voice over IP. Yeah, I don't have social. I don't have. I don't make money on Braxme. Braxme is something I pay for every month to keep it up and running, and it doesn't make money. And I've been running it for many years now, 4 years, and and if I can keep it running, hello Angel, I can keep it running indefinitely, so it will run. If there's not enough users, I shave off some servers. If there's a lot of users, I add servers. Uh, yeah. So Braxme just runs on a ton of Linux servers, many Linux servers. That's what Braxme uses. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you understand that you can't really compare apps like Telegram, WhatsApp, and say they're safer because you're really being fooled. And the other thing that you're actually being fooled with WhatsApp is your metadata is being shared with Facebook and Instagram, and it's actually on the terms of use on the EULA. It says so. So the metadata of who you're talking to, in other words, Facebook knows your phone number because of two-factor authentication. It matches it to the phone number on WhatsApp. It knows who you're talking to. It knows which profiles on Facebook are talking to each other on WhatsApp. That metadata alone, how frequently you talk, what kind of relationship you have, that is known to Facebook. So the fact that you're talking on WhatsApp is immaterial. They don't need to know what the exact conversation is. The metadata is enough to understand that there's a connection. Did you reboot the other day? You mentioned it. My green chili stew is almost finished. So Libram chat is safer than others? No. No, I don't, I can't say anything about Libram chat. I haven't used Libram chat. It's probably, many chats are safe for one-on-one, but, the moment they start asking for phone numbers and start tracking the metadata, then they're not safe anymore. So, be careful. I'm giving you kind of the things to look for. It's not saying, I need to have end-to-end encryption. If two people are anonymous, it doesn't even have to be end-to-end encrypted because we don't actually know who you are. Okay? We don't know who you are. So, Braxme has end-to-end encryption in chat. But if you're in a group conversation, obviously there's no end-to-end in the one of the open chats. There's some open areas in there. In open areas, it's like social media. It's not subject to end-to-end encryption since it's an open area. Same with Telegram and WhatsApp. They have those same open areas as well. Okay? It's not connected to phone number. There's nothing to connect you to anything. It doesn't even have your IP address. So there is nothing. It's just my service. It's a public service from me. I thought I would make money from it, but I didn't. So we'll just keep it going. Okay. So yeah. So anyway, that's that. So what? You can use any kind of RSA encryption, by the way, which can be broken with a. Why do you think RSA encryption is any good? So RSA can be broken by quantum computer. AES 256, which is what I use, cannot. AES 256 is the encryption method used in all of Braxme, and it uses something similar one-time pads. So every message has its own key, so it's pretty much unbreakable. So, but you're not owned by Zuckbook. Yes, Jay, I am not owned by Zuckbook. So, yeah, Librem chat is from Pure OS developers. Yes, yeah. So anyway, just something. Hello, Randy. So yeah, it's just something you got to be aware of, because we get a lot of buzzwords about what you should get, what you shouldn't get, as far what you should use, and Zuck goes on the internet and says, oh yeah, I support encryption by doing WhatsApp. And it's like, he doesn't need to see your conversations if the metadata reveals what the conversation's about. Okay, so it's kind of pointless. Okay, RSA is one of the, it's asymmetrical encryption, which is what RSA is one of the ones easily broken by, hello Randy, it's once easily broken by quantum computers. Talking about encryption for a moment, let me tell you about some VPN news. Okay? So as many of you know, some years back, I was promoting PIA, privateinternet-access.com, as your internet service. And I was promoting them, and I said, it was recommended to be by anonymous. And I started using privateinternet-access.com, and I used it myself. I had several accounts. And so I was, supportive of privateinternet-access.com. And then, as you know, last year, I started my own VPN, Bytes VPN, because I started to get screwed by PIA, and it's an example of kind of the screw ups that many of these big VPNs do, like NordVPN and so on. They're all like thieves. They all use you in some way. Well, anyway, PIA, one of the first things that happened, which caused me to make my own VPN, PIA started blocking my emails. Now, if you watch my videos on emails, one of the things you should realize is one of the biggest leak sources of IP addresses is your sucking email. Anytime you hit your send button on your email, listen to this. You have to understand what I'm saying here. Every time you hit send on email, whatever IP address you're on, if you're at home, reveals your IP address and sends it to the other party. So if you reply to somebody, they can actually then see your IP address and then do reverse IP lookup by subscribing to a reverse IP lookup database like from Skyhook, and if you do that, then they do reverse IP lookup from Skyhook, then they know where you are just from the email. And some of you say, well, I don't send email, again, people not thinking here. You are on your phone, and your phone is not connected to the VPN, and your phone is passively receiving emails using mail from iOS, and or one of the Google Mail from Android, And what happens, and I've tested this, what happens is that your phone reveals the IP address to a beacon. So I've tested this. I wrote my own beacon attack. You know, I did a demo video about it. I did a beacon attack where I send you an email, and without you having to respond, in the background, the phone responds and reveals your IP address. This is called a beacon attack. Something I can do to anyone if I have your email address. Now, what is that going to do? Once I send you an email with a beacon on it, and beacon is an invisible thing in the email. It's invisible. You can't see it. The email will ping my server, and then I'll find your location. And if I tie that email with a marker, I can say, oh, I just found out where Nerdy Art is at this moment. So I can actually ping your location and see where you're going, and depending on the accuracy of the reverse IP lookup, depending on how many times you've been using a VPN in the last few years, then it will actually isolate where you are and who you are exactly within 6 ducking feet from the reverse IP lookup. It's a very, very scary situation there. So one of the things that I don't want to ever do is go into my home and have one of these devices have email on it and accidentally receive email without my knowledge that will allow a ping, or neither do I want to send without a VPN. So I've told you this in many videos, and I've told you this and explained this to you, that what you need to do is make sure that you do not actively use any kind of email product on the phone. If you need to use email, go use webmail. So go to gmail.com and use their webmail and use that. Don't use an email app, because email apps are working in the background and they can be pinged. Okay? They will ping you. So on top of that, you always need to be using a VPN, because off the email is another one of these examples of leaking apps that leak an IP address, and then you get on the Skyhook database. So it's very, very important to be thinking about using a product like this. This is a VPN router, so that everyone in the house, in your house, is using a VPN, even if you have a stack of devices. So if you have a stack of phones, you don't have the opportunity to put VPN on any of these. But all of these will leak your IP address through emails primarily, number one, through Periscope. Those of you using Periscope, okay, it's called a WebRTC leak. And all of that is happening without your knowledge, and you're saying, well, I don't really need a VPN. Sorry. If you're at home, you should 100% be using a VPN. Now, because PIA banned using email on a VPN, I said, zuck you, PIA. I mean, what's the point of a VPN if you're going to lock out anyone's email? And they actually have some exceptions. Well, we'll grant you an exception. What you have to do, don't use a Gmail app. Use a webmail, Gmail web app. Don't use an actual app. Use a browser and go to Gmail. Don't use any email app unless it's Thunderbird. The only acceptable email client is Thunderbird. Thunderbird from Mozilla is not going to spy on you. That's the only one that I've tested. There may be others, but that's the ones I've tested. So definitely not the standard ones from Apple, Google, Microsoft. They're all flawed. Anyway, that was the reason I started my own VPN, was because the biggest leak is going to come from email, and if the VPN isn't going to do that, then it's not going to protect my email. Then they're kind of useless. So how does AES encryption compare to other encryption types like Twofish and Serpent? AES 256 is still top notch. A lot of the other ones that you're mentioning are not necessarily encryption. Some of them are hashing. Like blowfish, I think that's a hash. So you got to differentiate between encryption and hashing. Um, if you have your emails forwarded to different email address, would it protect against the beacon? No, because the forwarding passes the IP address to the forwarded email. It's all in the log. It's all showing in the email. No, it doesn't matter how many times you forward it. Every forwarding is kept in the header. So you can forward it 10 million times. It's still going to be in there. So no. So anyway, if you understand some of what I'm talking about, then you understand that I'm very serious about being very careful with what you understand about some of this. You may be being given this information. So anyway, the reason I'm talking about this is, aside from all the other problems that exist with PIA, such as crowding too many people, they're so big that thousands of people have the same email address. Thousands of people have the same IP address when you're in PIA. Possibly hundreds of thousands of people have the same IP address in PIA, and Google and Amazon and all these companies already know this. Because all they have to do is look in their database and say, wait a minute, there's 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people in the same IP address. There's a problem. And then they start giving you captcha codes and all this. So they already know that you're on VPN. And this is why I said this is not the solution. I thought the solution was to be very public and go to a database with, a VPN with hundreds of thousands of users. And as it turns out, that's now a big negative. It's better to be in a VPN, that has sufficient number of users, meaning not a handful, but not enough to raise the attention of a Google or an Amazon or an Apple or a Microsoft. Okay, if there's 100 people on with the same VPN, all that means is that you could be in an office. If you have 100,000 with the same IP address, then I know for sure you're in a VPN, and I know which VPN it is, and that subjects you to targeting, and they target you by captcha codes and so on. So anyway, the new bad news is that PIA just got bought by Cape Technologies. So Cape Technologies, who also owns CyberGhost, same company that owns CyberGhost. So Cape Technologies bought PIA. Now, this is the totally bad news in here that, you should be aware of. So Cape Technologies has been known to put little trackers and malware in software to sell your data. So they were in that business before. That's what Cape Technologies did. So this is why, we got like non-trustworthy institutions, and they're selling you VPNs. And whereas I used to trust PIA, slowly they've degraded themselves, and now I'm going to say I do not recommend use. I do not recommend you use PIA. And I made my own VPN, and I'm going to make a short video to show you. I'm actually going to do this. Okay, I'm going to log into my VPN and show you exactly why there are no logs. We'll actually log to an actual. I wanted to do it live even. And I just don't know if I have an easy way to pop a window in here. Live. I wonder if I can. Let me just see if I can. Can I do it live here? Because it would be great if I could do it live. Maybe not today, because I don't know how to do it on this. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it on this, but at least I'll do a recording, because that's the problem is I didn't know how to do it on. OBS easily on Linux. This is the Linux version of OBS. Does your VPN have a kill switch? Uh, no, no, because you're using. Yeah, well, I guess yes. Yeah, if you're using a router, if the VPN is down, then the network is down. Yes. So the answer is yes. I think you're talking. I'm talking about if you're talking about Open VPN on the device. Uh, I think it depends on which version of Open VPN you're running. So I couldn't tell you exactly which ones have a kill switch on it, which ones don't. But I don't actually use that. I've been using my own VPN router. So no one has to do anything. You don't load any software on your computer. No, it's not necessary at all because if this disconnects from the VPN, there's no network. It just shuts down. So it's either running or not running. There's no, it doesn't go off. The problem, Mr. Bogus Johnson. Okay, Bogus Johnson. Let me just tell you the problem with OpenVPN. All VPNs use OpenVPN, so there's no difference. So we all use OpenVPN software. You know, PIA will give you a different look and feel, but it's actually the same open source OpenVPN client. I don't revise it. I just use the same standard OpenVPN. The problem with that is when you have sleep mode. You see, the VPN does not run in sleep mode, and they do that because of battery. If you actually make it run in sleep mode, hello, Michael. Let me just explain the problem to you. If you allow a VPN, OpenVPN, which is what I use and what everybody else uses, if you let it run in the background, normally you set it to switch off in sleep mode. If you let it run in the background, it will use up so much of your battery. Your battery will your phone will get hot. So most of us will switch off the VPN in sleep mode. The problem is that's when you get your email. It's in the background. This is why email is so dangerous on the phone. It's running in the background. Your phone's getting email. You're getting beacon that's revealing your IP address. Okay. Every time you want to start your phone, there's this brief pause as it reconnects to the VPN, and a kill switch isn't going to help that because when it's asleep, the kill switch doesn't have any effect. So because the app isn't running, I think it's unreliable to rely on OpenVPN kill switches. The best way is just have it done by hardware. It's the only way I know that, I don't have to worry about the device. There's no login. There's no setup on any device. It's the only way I know to make sure, because I actually don't trust this, kill switches and sleep mode and all this. I don't trust any of them. I've seen them, fail. And I was using PIA too with your so-called kill switch. So, I had 2 accounts at PIA. In fact, I was using it till last year. Okay, so anyway, I'm finding that the only secure solution is to actually route your entire network, your entire Wi-Fi, through the VPN, not device by device, but route the whole thing. So, and a VPN router is kind of expensive to do before, so this is an inexpensive option. It'll cost you around $300 to $600 to have a VPN router normally, and this is a fraction of that. So yeah, so normally you have to get a subscription from a PI or whatever, and then you have to use a router with a VPN router from flashrouters.com as an example. Typically they program DDWRT or one of those to a standard router. Then they charge you, typically $300 to $600. To the big ones are like with MIMO and all the fancy features of the modem. They're going to charge you $600. So it's an expensive option. This one works. In fact, it works so well that if you needed 2 of these, it'd still be cheap. If you needed 4 of these, it'd still be cheaper than getting one from one big one from flashrouters.com. So anyway, that's just the story, little story on PIA that's happening, and even Linus Tech Tips, which was every time I go to watch a video from Linus Tech Tips, he is promoting PIA, and last night they said that they're gonna pause working with PIA because they want answers because they don't trust Escape Technologies. So your finger hurts. Okay. Will the Brax Wi-Fi still keep my ping high for competitive Call of Duty gaming? No, don't do that. You should have two Wi-Fis, Yannick. 2 Wi-Fis, one for gaming, because you don't need to worry about IP addresses and such for gaming. You can use the open internet for gaming. That doesn't matter. Okay, so what you do is for gaming, use the non VPN, and then that way you get your high ping rates. Okay, do I accept Bitcoin? Yes. Or Amazon gift certificates. Yeah, the problem with Bitcoin is, I have to dictate a price, and it's going to be open only for a limited time, and then, because the price keeps going up and down. So if you want the more precise way of doing it that's equally anonymous, it might be better to use Amazon gift certificates, which I will be glad to take. Okay, so Amazon gift certificates are even better. So at least the price is precise, because with Bitcoin it's going to be a little higher. Lucky strike means fire. Okay, so pause and promote Bytes VP. Any tips to increase the ping? Any tips to increase the ping on a increase? You mean speed it up, or to slow it down? Increase the ping means to slow it down. On a mobile phone, how to speed up a mobile phone? That's get one that you want to play. Get one that supports AC, 802.11 AC. That's the only way to do that. So most mobile phones do not support AC. They support ABGN. So AC, like an iPhone is probably AC. This is an older phone. This is ABGN. So it's not as fast. You want ping hovering around 30 milliseconds with certain games. Oh, you sound like an expert, AMG. What are your thoughts on hosting a personal VPN and VPS, routing all traffic and home network through it? That's a very bad idea, attendees. If that were the case, you're not protecting yourself, because the identity of the server is known because they know who owns the server. So let's say you're saying, I'm going to use an Amazon server and use VPS and do, that's my personal VPN. So all somebody has to do is ask Amazon, well, who owns that server, and then that IP address belongs to you. Zucked. You're done. That's not anonymity. The whole point to a VPN is nobody knows. Like, if I let you go into my VPN, I'm going to tell you what you're going to find. I'm going to tell you what you're going to find if we log into my VPN now, and I can't, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to find. If you log into my VPN, first you're going to find that my server only has 32 gigabytes. This is the entire server, 32 gigabytes. You're also going to see that my server has 22 gigabytes free. This is a 32 gigabyte machine with all the software in there, everything running. It has 22 gigabytes free. So as you can see, there's no logs because the operating system takes, around 10 gigabytes, and there's basically no space there. And then I will actually show you the setting on OpenVPN. You can see there it's actually No logs. I'll even show you the log, and I can show this in a video, and I can show you the actual logs, and you will see there is none. So the only logs that are kept on the server are those who are attacking the server, not using VPN services. So if you're attacking the server for other reasons, people trying to break into other ports that have nothing to do with the VPN port, that is logged. Otherwise, none. There is no log. So it's pretty cool. So and then the other thing that I can show you is the CPU utilization on my servers are like 1%, which means I have some huge servers. My servers are very big, and there's so few people using it at any simultaneous period. So there's absolutely no contention for resources. The VPN will never slow down from number of people using it because not that many people are using it at any one time. That's just the way it's designed. So it means my costs are higher. I don't make as much profit as if I put in, a PIA can squeeze in 100,000 people on a server, and so that's how they can make a profit. And I don't do that because this is kind of a premium plan, because then I make sure there's very few people on the server, and if the server is overpowered, I add a server. So when the time comes and that happens, we will know. In the meantime, it's just to show you that if you want to have trust, trust has to be built by facts. I'm going to show you the facts. You can go inspect my servers, and I'm going to do a video, so I'll do an inspection, and then you can see how it's set up and see that there's nothing there and there's no logs, and you can feel safe. Even when you authenticate yourself to the server, you're actually authenticated on a different server. The server itself doesn't know what the traffic is. In fact, I'll show you the routing tables to show you that your traffic goes into one port and it's passed to the other port. It doesn't pass anywhere in between. So it doesn't go to disk. It doesn't go anywhere. So I actually don't know what websites you're visiting. There's actually no indication of what anyone's doing. Now, I use the same VPN. So if it knows that I went to X and Y and Z in site, I wouldn't want that to be known. And it does not have any indication of that. Okay, so I know, since I use it myself, that it doesn't have any indication of what sites it's been to and who was on there and which user. It doesn't have that information. So I'm very happy that that's the case. And it can't individually identify anybody that's on the VPN at any moment. Okay, so that's just give you a little bit of faith in there. So that's something you should consider for 2020, that maybe you should start the year, instead of buying new phones and things, maybe you start the year and say, maybe we want to be safer in 2020. You should talk about nesting VPNs in a video. Nesting VPNs is not a good idea. Why would you want to nest a VPN? You should use Tor. If you're using Tor, there's no point using a VPN. There's actually a use of a VPN that's actually useful with Tor, I'll tell you, and I have it. It's called Bytes Tor. If a VPN connects to Tor and then Tor connects to whatever, that first leg being a VPN is actually a good thing, because it doesn't have your connection on the first leg. I have that service. It's called Bytes Tor. Okay, if you use Honix, yes, that's kind of similar to that. But you actually don't need it's Tor already. That's what VPN is. You don't need to use a VPN inside. That's actually a bad thing to use VPN in Tor, in Honix. That's not actually a good thing to do, which is what I'm trying to explain. If you connect with a VPN to the Tor server, the entry node, the entry node will not know who you are, because you connected them with a IP address based on a VPN IP address. So that's what my Bytes Tor service does. So you connect to it through using the Bytes VPN service. So the first leg is a VPN, and then the VPN sends to Tor. Okay, so Tor doesn't have any information. Even the entry nodes don't know where you came from, other than the fact that you came from this VPN connection. So that's like doubly better. Now, let me tell you the problem. When you layer a VPN inside Hunix. So here's you're running Hunix, and you decide you're going to run OpenVPN inside Hunix. What actually happens is, Bogus Johnson, this is the problem with your explanation there. What actually happens is the VPN transmission, the encrypted part of the VPN, goes through Tor invisibly, because the VPN at the other end knows your IP address because you signed on from inside Hunix. Tor is invisible. It doesn't really care that there was Hunix and Tor in the middle. That's why it's the wrong combination. Okay, it depends on where you put the Tor end of it. Tor should be at the tail end of it, not the VPN at the tail end. So if you put the VPN at the tail end, which is what you do when you do what you're talking about, you're just using the VPN. I use VPN on a desktop, then connect to Hunix in VM. You connect, okay. Now, what is the benefit of that versus just using Hunix? I'm not sure it's kind of nifty. It's like double Tor. It's like using Tor inside Tor. I'm not sure that's of any benefit. No one's actually been able to break Tor itself. They only break Tor through watching your trace outside of Tor. A little bit of a signal drop in here. Hold on, I just saw the signal drop. Yeah, okay. It kind of went to the red zone there for a second. Maybe I'm on the wrong. Yeah, I don't know. My signal dropped there. Okay. So, that's kind of, I mean, if you do it like that, then you end in Tor, so that's actually okay. But I'm not sure it's really giving you any extra benefit. I'm not sure it's needed. I mean, it doesn't hurt to do it, I guess. I wouldn't think that's necessary. Could you please make a video series about trying to obtain your data back from Cambridge Analytica? It's impossible, Yannick. No. It's like saying, can you undo what's on the internet? No, this is what I teach you. I teach you to protect it going out to begin with, because once it's out there, it can. There's no way to pull it back. Yeah. Yes, Bogus Johnson. I don't think that's necessary. Hunix, Tails, all of these are very, very secure already. I love Hunix. If only Hunix were much more usable, I would love Hunix more. So no to new iPhone for you, Rob. Yes, Jay, no new iPhone for me. There will be no new iPhone for me. Maybe for New Year you can have a sort of step-by-step videos to start fresh and create a safe persona online. We'll see, Starlight. The issue is I make the videos that people are watching. I can't invent a need, so I can talk about things, and if people are not interested, they're not going to watch that video. So my videos are currently targeted towards specific, things that YouTube wants to share, and YouTube wants me to talk about phones. Tails and Cubes and Hunix are all very, very secure, but they all have different. They all have different complexities. So and that's a very good question, Mick Shahal. It's a very good question. They're equally capable. So if you want to choose Tails, Honix, or Cubes, you can use all of them, or use the hardware method, which is this is actually why I did this. The Brax Wi-Fi solution is actually based on the principle of doing the same thing. Uh, in fact, the first version of this was a Tor router, which is exactly what Tails, Cubes, and Honix does. Tor routing. So, uh, so Tor routing is the point of Tails, Honix, and Cubes in different ways. So Tails. Yes, I'll explain that, Bogus Johnson. So Tails, the thing about Tails is there's no persistence. So you can't really use it for normal use as a operating system. For example, let's say you want to create word processing files and want to use it for work, and you want to have bookmarks and things like that. You can't store anything on Tails. It doesn't even remember what your Wi-Fi is. Every time you boot it, you have to reset the Wi-Fi. You have to reset everything. Everything is always from scratch. All of your documents are always blank. You have to keep every single document on a separate device. Nothing, no desktop setting, nothing is ever retained. So Tails is very much unusable for a normal person. Tails is only perfect for spies. So if you're going to travel around, going to borrow a computer, and you don't want to have a permanent computer, Tails is what you use. So Tails is for that purpose only. So if that's what you do, then you use Tails. If you're a secret agent, you use Tails. Okay, if you're gonna work, if you have normal work, you're not gonna use Tails. Okay, so the next option is to use Honix. Now, what is Honix? Honix, the way Honix works is there's a host machine. Let's say you're running Windows or Mac. And in the host machine, you run something called a virtual machine called VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a virtual machine from Oracle. So you basically have the host machine, the Windows or the Mac. Then you run a virtual machine, and the virtual machine will run Honix. And Honix comes in two virtual machines that you have to run simultaneously. And it then emulates the behavior of Tails by routing everything to Tor from the Honix station. Because it's Honix, it's it's not very attractive to use, and again, there's very limited things you can install, and it doesn't use a VPN. Everything that it does on Honix goes to Tor, so you don't have any fast way of doing anything. So, let's say you're doing a video or anything like that, you can't use it. Everything 100% goes to Tor. Okay, and the complexity with Honix is that there's a host service with the virtual machine, and there is a way to hack and find out who the host is. So because of that, if there's a known hack, you can actually make it burst out of the machine, the host, and reveal you outside of reveal your host IP address, and then you'll be zucked, unless you use a VPN on the host, in which case you're kind of defeating Tor. So that's why you don't want to use that. It's complex. The next option is called Cubes. Now Cubes is a little cleaner because since you're only running one version of Linux, which is Cubes, and it routes to Tor, and it's one device, and it is persistent, so you can use it like a normal device, but it works on very, very few computers. They have very few drivers, and a lot of things don't work with it. And Cubes, I tried to teach people how to use Cubes, and a problem is the average person can't do that. So I said, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that to get people to be safe if I'm going to tell them the only way to be safe is to use Honix Cubes or Tails, and it's extremely difficult and so unusable to use them. So that's why I used this. This is a hardware solution. So when you use a Brax Wi-Fi router, VPN router, and this can be Tor or VPN, you've actually done exactly what Cubes, Tails, and Honix does, except you're doing it in hardware. So, and this you can layer Tor. You can even, let's say, use a VPN on this. You can use Tor over the VPN. Now, this is a little bit different because now Tor is used inside the VPN. So you actually exit out of Tor rather than exit out of the VPN, which is what you don't want. That's the mistake that Bogus Johnson was doing. He was using it where the VPN is the end. The last device could be the VPN. Well, here, the last device, you're inside the VPN. So if you use Tor inside the VPN, you're actually exiting out of Tor. So you get double security. So you can use Tor. You can use the Tor browser on a VPN if you need to, and you will be doubly secure. And that's solving it through the hardware rather than the software. Okay, let me answer the questions here. Okay, hold on. Can I run Bytes VPN as an open VPN client on a router? Can I run? No. No. What? Can I run Bytes VPN as an open VPN client on a router? Meaning you want to do exactly what I'm doing here? I'm sure you can, but I'm not going to be able to teach you. I mean, you're going to have to set it up yourself. The answer is yes, but that's what this is. This is a VPN client in the hardware. This is a hardware solution. If you know enough about, using VPNs, and you can turn the client, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a good solution, but I can't do it on other devices. It's already pre-configured on this, and flashrouters.com sells you routers where they pre-configured it. It's time-consuming to do, so they charge you money to configure it, just like I charge you money to configure it, but it's already built into this. Comes to you pre-configured to your VPN. This is exactly what Flash Routers does. So that's how they make a living in flashrouters.com. And I do the same, except I sell my own hardware. They use other commercial hardware and then put their price on top of it. Are you broadcasting on Periscope at all anymore? Yes, I'm broadcasting on Periscope now. And if I'm doing music only, I do not broadcast on YouTube. I'm doing it only on Periscope. But to be honest, I am not really doing much on Periscope. Okay, so what else did I miss here? Jay wants to talk about browser fingerprinting. What any more questions that I missed in there? I was talking about shopping and things, and we kind of got into a whole different topic here. If you use Tor inside a VM, the host machine a VM file, the host machine will give up your info. It's Jay, not directly. There's a hack though, and the hack is maybe unique to the VM, and it may have been patched already, but it was a hack. How to pay for VPN with prepaid cards? My VPN you can pay with Amazon gift certificates. So that's the only one I'm taking right now is Amazon gift certificates. So if you want to pay for anything that I'm selling with Amazon gift certificates, it's fine because I'm always buying from Amazon anyway. So it's all usable. Okay, because I buy lots of Raspberry Pis. I buy many Raspberry Pis from Amazon. So it's all useful. So yeah, I actually I probably prefer it to Bitcoin at this moment because Bitcoin's kind of difficult to deal with. So I mean, I wish Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this were more stable, then it would be easier to transact. But that's probably the problem, until they get more stable, then it's up and down all the time. Can you tell me if the new phone 11 video is that much better than the iPhone 10? I already answered that, Starlight. I am not impressed. I did so many, live streams talking about that. So the answer, Starlight, is no. Uh, they're running out of features to put on a new iPhone. It's if you have an iPhone 10, what exactly is different from this? That you can get this for 649, under 650. Why would you need a iPhone 11 Pro? Because it has 3 cameras in the back. It's like, Zuck, who cares? Yeah, don't waste your money. Instead of wasting money on that, put your money in something more practical that you excuse me, that can actually benefit you, like some of my other products. This is uh, this is a product that's not understood yet, but I think it's so cool. So this is reminds me, if you guys ever watched Aliens, the movie Aliens. Thank you, Mick. If you guys watch the movie Aliens, Sailfish OS is not available in the US, and it's not free. And Sailfish OS is not open source. So, anyway, I hear Sailfish OS is cool, but since I can't use it, then I don't really have a way of doing it. I don't know how much they charge for it since it's not available in the US. Anyway, if you watch the movie Aliens, those motion sensors. I mean, that's why it's so cool. This is a motion sensor, just like in the Aliens movie. Motion sensors. Okay? Pretty cool. That could be a cough button for your mic. I think unless you... Gigabeavis, okay, let's not... Try not to swear on my broadcast so that I don't get demonetized. YouTube has a new policy now. They can just shut you down. So gotta be careful here. I think it's $50 for Sailfish. I've heard if you VPN into Europe, you can get it that way. It works on such limited devices that. I'm. First, you got to get a VPN into Europe. Anyway, that's too difficult. How to remove Ubuntu Touch for OnePlus One. I've tried many tutorials. I think you have to bring it back to the original Android. I think you have to flash the OEM. Yeah. So the OEM. Talk about the grid is gonna go down soon. That'll probably get my YouTube channel banned too, nerdy. So yeah, it's very funny now. There's some new YouTube rules, and I don't actually know what it means yet. I don't know what it means yet, so I gotta be like, be careful. You're responsible for Rob's channel. Yeah, we're responsible for. Yeah, guys, I put in some code in here to I don't even say ZUCK that often anymore because I don't want to get demonetized. Coming there shortly, Nerdy Gal. You can. You don't have to worry about Periscope. Fortunately, you can probably do all the swearing you want on Periscope. But on YouTube, they're a little bit scary here because they can just kind of control you. I know, dirty. That's what I said. You can probably say anything you want there. Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna care. I don't have any moderation, so you could probably say anything you want on Periscope. In any case, the thing is, so you could be stopped if you play piano. Yeah, they can, copyright violation. I don't know what they can do. So yes, nerdy gal. Uh, I don't know what they can do. So I'm just going to be cautious and going to watch from a distance. And to be honest, guys, I'm kind of dependent on what YouTube does. We're not really free. We're not really free, in social media here. I'm not really free to say what I want to say. Uh, so far, I can say that YouTube isn't particularly blocking my content. So YouTube is even if I speak against Google, they're not. They haven't been doing anything specifically because they're making money from my content. So as you can see, my channel is growing very, very fast. Nerdy, listen to this. So my channel is going very, very fast, as you all know, and you can see. I just reached in a very short amount of time, reached past 6,000, and then by Christmas, well, I'll probably be at 8,000, and sometime in January I'll be at 10,000. This is happening so fast. So my channel will double in 3 months. My channel will double in 3 months. This is not a joke. It's happening now. Okay, I'm picking up anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers a month at the moment. So it's pretty big moves. The problem, guys, is I don't know why it's doing that, because it's actually YouTube feeding my videos. At random moments, YouTube decides to feed my videos, and then many of you click and then you subscribe because it shows up in your suggested videos, and people click on and subscribe. They're doing this because they're liking the results. So YouTube is liking the results, so they're promoting me. I don't have any input on that. All I can do is make the videos and see what happens, and then YouTube decides if I'm gonna get views this month or not. It's thank you, Nerdy Gal, but it's kind of crazy, to be honest with you, because it's almost like I'm kind of dependent in a way where my message is so important, but they could cut me off. They can cut me off. So for many of you who don't know it, of course, I have my own platform. It's called Brax.me. I can broadcast there as well, so if need be. But at the moment, nobody knows of Brax.me except for the ones who are already there. So if it could be an insurance policy in the future, because of course I have my own platform. I'm not dependent in theory, but I'm dependent on getting new visitors. For example, I am not getting any new subscribers or followers, hardly at all, on Periscope. My numbers on Periscope are flat. I have 30,000 or so followers on Periscope. Thank you, Nerdy Gal. I have 30,000 followers from Periscope. It hasn't budged in a whole year. It's been 30,000. It hasn't changed. So because of this, it goes to show how I'm actually, dependent on YouTube then to expand my channel. And it is happening. It's happening because of YouTube. And the problem is, of course, if you displease your masters, then you suddenly have nothing. And my topic is such that they could get displeased. So that's a danger what I'm doing here. Okay? That's a danger. So maybe a cooking video. so so trust me, working in the background. Thank you, nerdy gal. So anyway, so that's the problem that I have is I'm I'm a bit dependent on this platform here and what they do. So I got to be careful too. Uh, I got to be careful. Thank you, nerdy gal. I got to be careful that that I pass the message along so you understand it without getting overboard. So one of the things that they don't like is if I sound too tinfoil. So nothing in what I do has ever been tinfoil. I'm not really a tinfoil hat guy, but I do have the same kind of focus as people on tinfoil. Would you allow me to be a voice and bring other? You're already doing that, nerdy gal. So thank you so much. So anyway, that's just I'm just telling you. Uh, I'm just telling you, what's happening. The only problem, nerdy gal, with using external sources for followers is that they're not organic, and if they're not organic, they don't watch the videos anyway. So you got to be careful that they come in here organically. So the if you if people aren't coming in here organically for content and they're doing it as a favor, like follow for follow and things like that, it doesn't result in results that YouTube wants. So I don't do any of that. I don't do follow for follow. If somebody leaves a comment that says, do follow for follow, it's like I just ignore because it doesn't do anything for me. Because YouTube doesn't care about that. They actually only care about watch time and watch hours and views. So if you're watching a lot of videos, then they just take the ratio of that. And my numbers are very good, and people do watch even these long ones. They watch. So it's been they can see the record of consistency, and so they support the channel. So yes, so the channel is growing at an incredible pace, and the pace that I'm growing at is the same pace as some people with 100,000 subs. Thank you, nerdy gal. So the pace I'm moving is competitive with some channels that are 100,000 subs. My channel is growing that fast. So even 100,000 sub people, don't get as many as 3,000 a month, which is what I've been getting here. Okay, YouTube cares about money. Yes, YouTube cares about money, and my channel, I survived from basically selling things, little things, making a little bit here and there, and from super chats and things like that. It's really it's not enough to say I can I can make a living at it with this number. But if my number is higher, then it could be a living. So it's so your support is obviously very important. If you think that I'm raking in the bucks doing this, then you should know that no, this is hard, and it means giving up a lot of stuff to be able to do this. So anyway, appreciate your support. I mean, some of these products I sell are not much money, and sometimes the profit margins are very small, but I want to make sure that you get a deal, and your support is really, really key. So I have, these are the two new products that I built: the security camera and the radar alarm, just like in the Aliens movie, where it can sense if somebody's in the area. This is such a cool little device. You can see it in my store, rob.brax.me. When you hit 100,000, you get a plaque with a play button. You get a YouTube play button when you reach 100K. A 10K, which I'm going to get in January, I'm sure. at 10K, I get to use the facilities of YouTube itself. So YouTube is close by. So I'm not allowed to use it until I have 10K. Once I reach 10K, then I can use their facilities. I can actually do videos. They have a giant, green screen in a big giant warehouse. I mean, it's huge. You could probably put an airplane in there and be all on the green screen. You can put green screen airplane. So like a real one, not in the green screen. It's probably enough space to put an airplane in there. It was an old hangar. So they have like a huge green screen, and that will be available to me hopefully early in the year when I get to 10,000, which is not very far because I'm going to be at 8,000 by Christmas time, I'm sure. Unless something changes, we're expecting 8,000 around Christmas time. I'm so tired. I must go be prone. Okay, thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jane. Thank you. I know you've been trying to make a living. And ride those plastic slides or just that in the movies. I don't know, Jay. You can. It's. I don't know what videos. I don't know what videos I can make on a green screen when you get access to such a big green screen. When it's that big, I don't know what you can do. And there must be things you can do. So I don't have to sit here. I can actually be standing up and point to things, and maybe I do video, pointing to things instead of sitting down. So I don't have that ability here because I don't have a lot of space. So anyway, so I'm going to I'm going to be obviously be tied up with Thanksgiving. I'm going to see if I have a couple of videos I need to make. Hopefully, during the week, maybe around Thanksgiving. I don't know. Maybe you have to watch me on Thanksgiving and maybe do a video. I don't know about live streaming next week. Maybe one day. So maybe I live stream on Friday only. I'm not sure yet. But with the holidays, live streaming scheduling may be tough. The videos are not going to be an issue, but live streaming. Live streaming could be an issue. So not sure how I'm gonna handle that. So anyway, thank you for being here tonight. Some people say my videos are too long, so I'm going to cut it short. Use the space station green screen backdrop. What will you buy? I already bought a Pine phone. I don't know. I probably not a computer. I already have computers. I just bought a new computer. I kind of did it in advance. So you just spilled whiskey over you. That's good. Whiskey. Not a bad thing. Okay, so thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you in a video during the week, and then we'll catch up during the middle of the week with a video, and then catch up on the weekend. Thank you for being here. Good night.